Now, as the world marks International Women's Day, the 5th annual Gender Equality, Wellness and Leadership Summit kicks off today. And this year's theme is harnessing the role of women in a pandemic recovery. Motsepe Foundation co-founder and UCT Chancellor, that's Dr. Precious Moloi-Motsepe, will give a keynote address. But she joins us now to unpack what we can expect today. Dr. P, good to have you and good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. I want to start with just understanding the vision behind GWEL Summit. I know it's not its first this year. It's actually in its 5th year. Share with us its vision. Dr. P, I think you've muted your audio. If you can hear me, may you kindly please just unmute? There we go. I can hear you now.
Thank you, Tumelo. Good morning to you and good morning to the listeners and happy International Women's Day. To answer your questions, the Gender Equality, Wellness and Leadership Summit seeks to bring women from diverse backgrounds, women in business, women from rural communities, women-owned organizations, and we invite men as well, also including our youth, because this is a platform that we generate, discuss innovative ideas on how we can close the gender gap. The World Economic Forum tells us that if we continue at this pace, it will take us close to 100 years to reach gender parity. So as the Motsepe Foundation, our broader mandate in terms of development is to alleviate poverty in our country as well as on the continent. And we know that women and youth are disproportionately affected by poverty, and hence the need to create a unit that specifically focuses on women's issues.
And Dr. P, I know that, the UN report, different African Union reports, the World Economic Forum report shares how women were hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, even showing that over 70% of women make up the informal informal work in the sub-Saharan region of Africa. How will your theme for this year address, some of the social and economic recovery solutions sustainably? How will that theme address how women can play that role and be placed front and center?
Tumelo, our theme for this year is how we can harness leadership, women's leadership, to ensure that we build back better. We know that things are never going to be the same. And if we're going to build economies that are resilient, equitable, and inclusive, we need to ensure that we bring as many of our human resources as possible to participate in economic recovery. And that means we need to bring women into leadership positions. We need to ensure that women are represented in political spaces and that we have as many women as possible leading in business as well as owning their own businesses where they can create economic contributions as well as create jobs. We know that it is important that for our youth particularly, and girls especially, we've got to ensure that the education space is accessible to them. As a foundation, we promote girls and generally youth to follow in the STEM subjects, because we know that these are the areas of the economy that are going to be growing going forward. So to ensure that the young people that come out of our institutions have skills that the labor market requires, we encourage them to follow STEM studies. The other thing that we're doing is to ensure that we can promote not only entrepreneurship, but also social entrepreneurship, which seems to be much more aligned with youth as well as women. We know that social entrepreneurship brings a lot of innovation, and it is businesses that are run with a profit motive, but predominantly have a huge social impact.
Right. Due to time, Dr. P, how can, just two questions, how can South Africans, women and men, join virtually and participate in the summit? And also, who are some of the esteemed guests that you can tease us with?
People can join through our foundation's website, motsepefoundation.org, and we will be live streaming via Facebook. And I'm really excited that we're going to have the First Lady of Rwanda, Mrs. Kagame, come and give a keynote address. We've got our own ministers, Minister Naledi Pando and Minister Maite Mkwana Mashabani, who will also address us. We've got entertainment galore, but this year in particular, we've also made sure that we have health, we focus on mental health, we focus on general health and well-being, and we will have a cooking lesson for everybody.
All right, that sounds exciting. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Precious Moloi-Motsepe, for joining us, of course, talking about that 5th G World Summit, which kicks off today.